Here in Vine Grove, Kentucky. I'm out here, man, trying to make it happen. One thing I look back at how far I've come, you know, in terms of profession, in terms of mindset, health, physical, uh, physical appearance. I get, or not appearance, but like I've dropped weight. I work out, stuff like that. So you know, how far I've come. I've had little goals for each day for a really long time. Intentionally for a year and a half, but now that I look back at it, it seems like it's been a lot longer than that. But it's only been for a short time that I've had an aim, like a target, you know. And that target has allowed me to come into a place where I'm able to see other targets, you know, coming out here. Actually, you know what? It all started with taking the leap initially to Texas is what I think that was the one thing that kind of set it off in 2014. Taking that leap, quitting my job, going to Texas, not knowing what I'm going to do there, how it's going to be there. All I know is I trusted my brother and we went, and I knew we would be fine. But the big picture of it all was going there to find my way as an artist. What was I going to do? I'm just going to be an illustration artist, picking up freelances here and there. I don't like having a boss. I don't like working on shit that I don't like working on. That sucks. I don't like drawing things that I just don't care about. And if I can manage to do and work on things that I care about, I've done a lot of that, and I understand that's part of the gig. You know, I paid my dues on that part, only to have that project just completely disappear after 2 years of working on it. And I'm not doing that anymore, man. I'm smart enough, I'm creative enough, and I'm observant enough to see opportunity. So, coming out this way, backing up, Texas, and then after Texas, having that online job and giving myself the freedom to travel, uh, allowed me to kind of see the world and see just different points of view, man. I went to New York and just overdosed on different points of view and different people and different boroughs and ways of life. And I got in touch with a part of myself that I always wondered about, and I went back to that same neighborhood in the Bronx where I lived at when I was a kid. In kindergarten, first grade, out there in Soundview. I got to see those people, and I got to see that culture. It is a culture. It's a whole different thing, man. I walk those streets, and it's just something about being there. Having that thought in my mind that I could have grown up there, possibly. I mean, who knows? But a lot of my family came from there. At some point, we all lived in that area. We were deep in that area, man. We were so deep. Uh, that was great, man. All my cousins, my grandmother, my aunts. We were so deep in Soundview, man. Who knows what would have come of us? But you know what? We all moved on. Things go on, and life changes. And here I am. And I think I spent a lot of time reflecting there, and it was good. But then life comes and says, "Hey, man, let's throw you another direction." And then my good friend Shannon came and picked me up. And Shannon's from Fort Knox, Kentucky, where I went to high school. And we go there. Not knowing what I'm going to do there, I pick up actually, you know what happened? I met a girl. I hung out with her. And then I got put in touch with a guy who had a print shop. So then I go, I meet him. Work. He starts giving me names of galleries and stuff, and then he tells me, "Hey, do you do makeup? Can you do makeup?" And I'm like, I don't know, maybe, you know. Actually, no. He puts me in touch with people at Feel the Screams, and then they asked me if I could do makeup. That's right. So Feel the Screams Kentucky contacts me, asks me if I could do makeup. I say yes. Truth is, I had never done makeup before like that, but I have worked an airbrush machine, and it's not that hard. And I figured if I can do it on paper, I can do it on someone's face. So, no big deal. And then we go. And there it is. Field of Screams, Kentucky, 2015. I'm knocking that gig out every Friday and Saturday. And every time I do it, it seems like the world just gets a little bit bigger. My confidence grows. And it just felt right. It felt really right. And then it was over. 2 months later, in a blink, it was over. I'm on my way back to Florida to see my family. And while I'm there, you know, I jump around, going place to place, visiting people. I'm still mobile. I don't have a residence. I'm still doing the online gig, you know. But now I'm down there, and I'm just stuck for a minute, you know. Not sure what I'm going to do. So I reach back out to Feel the Screams to see if I can get some freelance work. And obviously, you know, they want me to come back. Yeah. Once the winter passed, I came back here in late February of 2016, or early March of 2016, and here I am. And then when I get here, I'm going to Walmart, and I drive past this building that I've always noticed when I lived here as a kid and I was in high school. I just never knew what that building was. It was a standalone unit. It looks like a house, basically. And it was a hair salon. And it had a for rent sign out front. So I go and I knock on, or I call the number. And this guy picks up and tells me about the place. And we schedule a meeting to go check it out. And I go look at it. And the whole purpose for me trying to rent this place is trying to create some sort of gallery or something. I want a building that's going to serve two purposes. One for my production of fucking chickens and all the other stuff I'm going to do after that, as well as serving the community in a way where I'm giving them something creative. So I'm thinking a gallery, you know. But then I started thinking about all those wine and paint events, and I like those, and they're cool, but I kind of want to do something a little bit different. So, you know, inspiration kicks in. I start writing things down. I start drawing things. The idea changes from time to time. And then little by little, I'm feeding this fire and I'm feeding this creativity. And then the word manifest sometimes is hard to wrap my mind around. You know, sometimes sometimes I get caught up in the word manifest and thinking it's like a wish or whatever. But the way I understand it is inspiration kicks in and you have an idea. Now you have a choice. You're either going to take a step towards that idea or you're going to dismiss it. Most of the times we dismiss those ideas because we see the grandeur of the task and it just seems more than we could ever wrap our minds around and do. So we kick those ideas out until something a little bit more easier in our comfort zone comes in. But then there's those times where the idea is just too good. You can't kick it. You can't let that idea go. And the idea of being my own boss while serving the community that I went to high school in, that I served my country in. I got married here. You know, this whole place was real special, and I still have a real strong feeling about this place. You know, and I think that I think I can go in and create a way to give people something new to look at because there's nothing creative going on in this town, man. I forget the number, but I want to say it was like, man, it's a 30,000. I forget the number. It's not that many people for a town if you live in a place like Miami or wherever. You know, it's a small group of people here in Radcliffe, Kentucky. You can look it up on the map. Hell, you can Wikipedia Radcliffe, Kentucky and check it out. It's not much, but it's just a small town that's basically survived off of the military base, Fort Knox, which is, you know, right across the street, basically. Uh, but there's not a lot going on here, man. A lot of empty businesses, a lot of empty strip malls, and a lot of my friends are still here, you know, and they have kids and they have families, and I wonder what they do. I hear about people that, you know, when you don't have a lot to do, man, you get in trouble. You start getting into trouble. You put yourself in a position where you start having kids early. You know, you're high school kids with babies, and you just end up staying in this area with no goal, no dream, and you know, you see people like that. And I remember being here and not having any idea of what it meant to be an artist because I just didn't see anything around me like that. So if I could come here and put a studio in the middle of town, hang my artwork, teach people how to draw, have evening events where people come and do something cool for a small price, that's a win situ. That's a win-win right there, man. They have the building that's functioning as a production studio, creative and inspiring to do for an evening that doesn't require them having to drive 45 minutes away to Louisville or the 25-minute drive down to Elizabethtown. It's it's right here in town, man. Prime location, by the way, too. Woo. And that's where we are, man. So I get the idea, start putting it down, and then someone comes into my life who happens to be who happens to work in the lending department at a big bank. And I was maybe a week away from starting to call banks. I had to put my idea down on paper, call these banks, and I had no idea what I was going to ask, what I was going to say or do. I just knew that I needed a loan, and I needed to get that to secure the building. And then I meet Leslie, and Leslie she works for a bank, and she's a lender, and she knows all about this shit. She loves my idea. She's helping me out. And she's opened my eyes to so many things that I didn't know. And now, here I am a week after working on some paperwork and working on ideas and collaborating. And I just feel so confident about what's going to happen. Even if I don't get that building, which I want that building. But if I don't, it doesn't really matter. There's a shit ton of fucking strip malls around here with nothing in them. But it's the idea, and that's going to happen. And that is exciting as hell, man. And it just takes, I'm on a path towards something bigger than I've ever done, more exciting than I've ever done. And it's just one stone that's going to help me step onto something that's much more bigger and more exciting than even that. And that's going to happen. And that's where I'm at. And every morning I wake up and I'm just like, wow, you know, we're so close. We're so close, man. Just keep pushing. In 6 months to a year, which goes by really, really fast, you know, it's going to be a completely different atmosphere for me. And yeah, man, you got to dream. Don't kick those ideas out. Let them sit for a minute when you get them. Let them sit. Write it down. If it's too big for you and it's something you've never done, then pretend it's someone else's idea and they just hired you to do it, and write it down and format it for them so that they can do it. You know, but deep down, know that it's you and it's possible. It just takes moving towards that direction. And inspiration, when it comes and you feed it, you know, I like to think that inspiration comes from the divine. And when it's almost like a job. Someone says, "Hey, you want to do this?" "No?" "All right, I'll find someone else." "Hey, you want to do this?" "Nah?" "All right, I'll find someone else." "Hey, you want to do this?" "Yeah?" "All right, here you go. Hold it." And when you step towards it, I'll step towards you. And every little step, you know, I'll meet you halfway until the job gets done. How about that? Want to do that? All right, cool. And that's what you got to do when inspiration kicks in. You got to really think about it. If you feel it in your heart that you can at least take one step towards it, whether it be just writing it down, that's one step. If it's drawing it, that's one step. If it's calling someone else who's in that industry to ask them, hey, what do you know about starting your own small business? That's one step, because that's knowledge. And every little piece of knowledge you get brings you one step closer. Who knows? That person might know someone. Hey, remember when you called me last week about starting a small business? Yeah. All right, I got a guy who's doing it right now. You want to talk to him? I'll give you his number, and I'll put you guys in touch, and you can see what he's doing. Maybe along the way you get some ideas and figure out how to do it for yourself. Yeah, man, cool. I appreciate that. That's cool. Thanks a lot. Now, life is working in your favor because you're taking steps towards that particular goal. As big as it might be. But fuck it, dream big, man. Why not? Why not? We do it all the time when we watch TV. MTV Cribs. Pit My Ride. Remember that? Dreaming big, man. Dreaming big. My man put screens on the rear bumper of a car so people outside behind him can watch whatever he's watching. That guy was dreaming big, and he went and did it. Didn't make no sense, but it was still a dream. He went and did it, man. We dream about big houses. We dream about winning the lottery. We dream about relationships. You know, we dream about all kinds of things, but how many things do we actually chase? Or do we just watch people chasing them on television? And is that even real? You have to ask yourself out too. You know, remember, you're watching something, but always remember there's a cameraman, there's a grip, there's a guy on the light, there's a director, a producer, an executive, a corporation. There's all these people behind that camera showing you the shot so that you can have whatever thoughts that they want you to have. And it's that simple. It's really that simple. They want to inspire you, they're going to put it in your face just like that. And they're going to create a show that will inspire you. Remember Touched by an Angel? That was such a great show. Wasn't that the Michael Landon? That was a good show. Somebody put something together, and this guy walked the earth like he was an angel, but it was like kind of felt like the Incredible Hulk. Like you didn't know what the scenario was going to be. So one time he's in this town, next time he's in that town. But they put together an idea, and they wanted to inspire people to believe, you know, that something out there is bigger than them and has their best interests in heart if they'll just step towards it, because it'll meet you halfway. However you want to call it. It's there. God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever. It's a force beyond us, and we're all connected to it, and we're all pieces of it. And if that thing inspires us, drops an idea on our head or something like that, or a notion, it's meant for us. It's meant for you until you say yes. If you don't say yes, then it'll be given to somebody else. How many times did you have an idea where you were like, man, I had that idea, and then I looked, and this guy took it, you know? I'll give you a great example of that. The collapsible L screen. If you ever go to a ball game and you watch batting practice, you see those people who pitch batting practice, and they're standing behind a screen. Basically, it's 3 squares, like an L. And when I was a kid, we used to have to go to this ballpark, drag this big metal thing from behind the fence. If the fence was locked, we had to figure out a way to throw it over without the net getting snagged. It was a pain in the ass. And then one day I thought, you know, this is just 3 squares. Why can't we just make 3 squares, throw some hinges on it so that it folds in a certain way and becomes 1 square, and then you can put it in the trunk of your car or in the back of your truck. And it's not such a beast to have to lug around. All it's meant to do is just deflect the ball from hitting you, because you're going to be a lot closer than the standard pitcher's mound. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe the next baseball season when my East Bay magazine came in the mail, and I'm looking at the gear, and what do I see? Produced in the most efficient way possible, and a collapsible L screen for $150. And I was like, that is genius. It was exactly what I would have designed. I was thinking something a little bit more bulkier, but this thing was so efficient. And that was the idea that I had one day sitting in the park after having drugged that one giant big piece of metal with rust and dirt in the bottom, and it's just something you can't move by yourself. I got the inspiration because of a need, but I didn't act. I just thought of the idea, let it go. Inspiration came, said, hey man, you want this? You want to do this? No? All right, I'll give it to somebody else. And that's what happened. They gave it to somebody else, and that person did what was necessary to make that product exist. And now there it is in a magazine for the whole world to order. Inspiration, man. Follow it. You'd be surprised where it takes you. It might take you someplace you had no idea, no plan ever to go. But if you feel, if it's still that path, then just trust it. Trust that it's gonna be part of the whole puzzle that makes your dream come true. Because sometimes it takes 100 people to make your dream come true. It may take hundreds of people to make your dream come true. But don't be afraid of having. Don't be afraid of having to deal with things that are outside your comfort zone when the interest of making your dream come true is at heart. Like finances and working with banks and dealing with money and lenders and all that shit. That's outside my comfort zone, man. I don't even want to deal with that. With my credit history and all the things that I've heard in my family, I look at money completely differently. I admit I got a really fucked up way of looking at money, and I got to figure out how to change that. But, it's outside my comfort zone, but I'm going to address it now because guess what? I got to. If I'm going to get to my goal, I got to go through that, and I got to accept that, and I got to accept my work history, and I got to accept my credit and my debt and all those things, because the goal at hand is going to be something that will eventually turn all that into a thing of the past. So I got to focus on that, and I got to go through all these uncomfortable conversations and all these uncomfortable settings to help build what I was once inspired to do. So keep pushing. If you're out there figuring out some shit and you don't know what's up, or you have that idea and you're not sure if you're going to do it, just take steps towards it to learn about it. If you don't know, if you already know it and your situation is different, whatever it may be, there's always a way. There's always a way. There's plenty of people who have come out of adversity to achieve great goals. It just takes movement, action. The world doesn't think about having a storm. It just makes a storm, and action happens. A lion doesn't just lay out there thinking about chasing a gazelle. He fucking goes and gets it, man. Hyenas don't just think about shit. They go and get it. They'll take it right from a lion. You got to go out there and get it. Get the know-how. Get in touch with the people who know things you don't know. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Don't be afraid to say, I've never been here before. I've never dealt with this before. I hated having to say that for a minute. I got this great idea, and I pitch it, and it's awesome. And people think it's a solid idea. And they start asking questions about finances and things. Do you have this? Do you have that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And all of a sudden, it's just like, shit. Now all the things, one minute I'm certain of everything, the next minute I don't know jack. And I have to swallow that, man. And I'm like, no, I don't. But I can get it. Or how can I get it? Ask the question, how? Do you know how? What can I do about this? What if I have that? Is this a better way? What do you think of this idea? It just takes action, step towards it. One step a day, little steps. Doesn't take much. You're not trying to build it into it. You're not trying to build Rome. You're just trying to make a movie or start an art studio. You know. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everything. Thanks for listening. I'm just here trying to get my thoughts out there. Uh, Talking to a friend the other day, and I'm telling her all this stuff, and she tells me, you should put that on the web, man. You should tell people that you're going through it right now, live, real life. You know, if you're going through it, that's interesting. That's behind the scenes shit. Tell people your story as it's happening. You know. Shit, man, it took a long time just for me to figure out how to tell my mom what I was planning on doing. Just because I'm afraid to tell people stuff out of fear that if it doesn't go through, nobody wants to say, hey, what happens to that one thing you did? Oh, no, I'm not doing that anymore. That sucks. I've had to deal with that too in the past. I worked on that project with the guy for 2 years, thinking that we were going to be rich. And then he just disappears one day. The project never got off the ground. And then the money gets pulled out, and now it's just him and me, and he just disappears, man. All that work, gone. And the whole time, I'm sharing that idea with my loved ones. They're excited about it. They're interested in seeing where I'm going with it. And then one day it's just gone. And damn, I don't want to do that again, man. But the difference between that and what I'm doing now is that this is my dream, my idea. And the only one that could stop me from doing this is me. Everything within my dream, I can do. Now it's going to take people. It's going to take me stepping towards it, asking the right questions, creating the plan, coming up with the idea, trusting the idea and the advice of other people. But if my best interests are at heart, I do believe that it will happen. It's just a matter of working together. A bunch of people stepping towards my dream. Damn, that's like amplifying the power right there. I believe in it, but when 16 other people believe in it too, and they take steps daily with you, come on, man. Big things can happen. Big things can happen. So keep your dreams alive. Write them down. Keep a little book. It doesn't take much. Just write that shit down. Do some internet research. It's out there. The information's out there. The how-to is out there. The will. You just have the will. You just have to have the will and the guts. It doesn't take much. Just the will and the guts. And then the ability to just dismiss all rational thinking, because that's going to come in and try to kick it down. Mathematically, we can't do this, or strategically, we can't do that. Yeah, I know. That's how you think. But I'm over here on the inspiration side, and I strongly believe that there's a power behind all this that's making this happen, or I would not have had the idea. So why don't you go back to your rational room and figure out some shit and come back with something that I could work with. Thank you. Go tell doubt to do that shit. Go tell doubt to have doubt work for you, not against you. You stay on the inspired side. That's it, guys. Have a good day. I appreciate you listening. And if you get a chance, you can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook under IZART Serrano, IZART SERRANO. You can also follow me under Fucking Chickens, which is the movie that I'm working on. FUKN Chickens. FUKN Chickens. And that's also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. There's not much going up right now because it's in the process, but trust, it will be on, and it will be made, and it will be totally worth it. So I appreciate all your support, you guys. Thanks for your time. Have a good week. Take care. Bye.